A year
What you doing, man? I hate when people do that, man. It drives me insane. So she makes an announcement yesterday. She's done with Twitter. I don't blame her. Like, bump y'all. Like, if y'all are atting people because somebody's husband had a bad night or whatever it is you want. I don't care what the reason is. You're a crappy human being. Like, what is the purpose of that? Give me a good example of why anybody needs to at his wife in this situation.
Because they know that you can't get to Urban. It's part of the reason why, people ask me questions all the time. My boys don't have social media. They're too young, obviously.
Man, he's got TikTok. I see him all the time.
That's right. But his TikTok is heavily guarded. Trust me, you get to talking reckless on TikTok. You get to talk. Daddy gonna come after you. So he's on a parent's phone when he's using his TikTok.
Okay,
he doesn't have his own stuff. But there's a reason, and I learned this from one of my good friends who's a politician. You're trained. You picked this life. You decided to do all this. Now they picked to be with you, and they've gone through you with this stuff. But they typically don't get the training, or even if they do, it's something different. Like, they know they can't get to you, so they'll go for the people that they think they can get to. And that's the only. They're terrible people.
See, I understand that. Like, I don't agree with it, but I understand it if something were to happen on a football field. Like, if he were to do something incredibly stupid,
right,
on the football field, like, I get that. But in this situation, like, what are you possibly saying? Even if you're trying to get to Urban,
it's all entertainment. It doesn't matter. We're looking at it as, it's just football, man. I don't care about your personal life. I care about winning games. I treat people I used to tell my sister that all the time. When my sister would try cases for me, I was like, "Are you sure you want to do this for me?" Like, because I love you. I can go do business with somebody else.
Mm-hmm.
I don't care about your little boyfriend breaking up with you if we got a court date.
Right.
I need my lawyer to be focused, and just stuff like that. But people don't know how to differentiate that stuff. And this is all that a lot of people have going on in their life: is sports, is entertainment, is Twitter, and the little 300 followers that they have are the most important thing. Like, just think about it in the grand scheme of things. How many people do you get telling you that you're dumb about your opinion? You don't pay attention to them, but they'll tell you that they're dumb. They have zero qualifications to even speak on it.
Mm-hmm.
But they're going off of, and you go click on their link. They got 90 followers. They're literally doing this for the 90 people, like, because something just inside of them said, you know what? I have to go tell this celebrity, or I got to go tell this professional who does this every day, so that the 90 people who actually like me
in my life. You think it's about the 90? You really think it is?
Social media in of itself shows mental illness in a way that nobody has ever thought that it would show.
Okay.
It's the only platform that you have 100% control over that people blame for all their problems. Yes, you can get advertisements. You can get things. But I just tweeted about this. It was just funny how we're talking about this. People, it's always the people who say I need to take a break because they're out, what they tweet out is nothing but negativity. Which gives you.
That's not the case with Shelly Meyer.
No, it's not.
I'm just differentiating.
But what I'm saying, but with Shelly Meyer, they're like, when girls talk about, I got a dick pic in my DMs, I got this. I don't have sympathy for them like others. You know why? There is literally things that you can do to prevent getting DMs from random people.
Mm.
You can literally restrict on IG. You can literally restrict who messages you, even if they're your friend. That's what I know with the limited knowledge that I know about social media. You have so much control over this, what you do with the algorithm, the high, the feeling, the vibe, what you get when you post a response. Even if it's bad, it's good. Now, I'm not saying this is what Shelly Meyer's doing. I'm saying the people who are attacking Shelly Meyer are going, this is giving them validation.
Not saying that you're one of these, but you seem to have a better handle on this than I do. Walk me through what goes through somebody's head when they see a video of Urban Meyer teaching a young lady how to snap football, and then all of a sudden, like, what has to go through your head for you to go, you know what I'm going to do? I'm going to at his wife, or even at Urban. Like, what? Why do you care?
That's the first thing is a lot of this stuff. I just always tell people, I ask, why do you care so much? And they don't really know. That's why I say it might be mental illness, because you're addicted to it. You're addicted to the feedback. And what social media is.
That's funny, because I feel like they're addicted to just getting something out and telling something mean to somebody.
That's what I'm saying. That's they're getting it off. And when somebody responds, the only satisfaction you can get is somebody click like, the retweet, even if it's one like. It's something different than when you go to your voiceless life, because most of these people have to go back to their lives. And I'm not saying that in a negative way. We all have platforms and we all have things that we are experts in if you really look at it.
And we're talking about like a very few people. We're not talking about the majority. Like Shelly Meyer may have gotten, even if she got 1,000 of them, that's still such a minority of people.
Yeah.
But and I don't think she did. I don't.
But it goes back to this. Like when you see people relationally, this is why I always tell people, man, a lot of times you really need to keep your personal life personal, because you don't know how you're going to respond to it. So like when the girl goes on and says, "Oh, my man cheated on me. I can't believe this. All men are dogs." And then next day posted with my king. He's my life. He's this. Well, you just told the world how bad a person he was. And now you're coming here and it's your choice. But now you've given people, like, because you're public with the information, you've given right, wrong, or indifferent. People are going to give you the volley back and they're going to judge you for that. So Shelly Meyer looking like she's taking back a guy who we assume cheated, which, hey, we talked about it the other day.
Everybody's definition of cheating is different.
He might have sealed the deal. Who knows? But all we know right now is that he was dancing, got a handful of something, or I don't know how you want to hand up, whatever you want to call it. We don't know how he did that, but like I say, it's plenty of married folks who are okay with people going to the gentleman's club. That's not my personal issue. But there are people who could not wait to say, Shelly Meyer, you stupid for taking him back. We see it all the time on all these different things, and she got to deal with that. There's women who will say he's a powerful, rich man, because everybody believes that you get a divorce, it's 50%, and that's the end of it. I've heard a woman say this: why take 50 when you control the 100? So I mean, again, it's not
take the money.
Business.
Even take
it's not my business.
Even take the money out of it for a second. Like, why throw away 30 years over one night? Like, I mean, there's
statistically speaking, and I've heard a comedian say this: if a man or a woman cheats, like you have sex 100 times a year, and they cheat 3 times, you want to fail an A+ student?
That's actually terrible logic, but
no. But what I'm saying is, there's a lot of trust issues that go into it. But I also believe that
whatever comedian said that, I would suggest you stop listening to that comedian.
This is the thing: is people love to be judge, jury, and executioner in other people's personal business for this reason and this reason alone. It gets you away from having to deal with your own individual problems. That is again, that's why I say there's a mental illness in it, there's a sickness in it, because people love to judge other people because that takes away the shine off of what's going on in their life. And you'll see people cast, like, that's why I always tell people, if you get offended or you take something personally, what I post on social media, and you think I'm talking about you, you're an arrogant SOB. Half the time, I don't know what I'm talking about. It's a random thought. But what I found is when people come to me and say, hey, man, you talking about me? It's either A, something's coming. I'm going to find out that I should be talking about them. Or B, there's something going on in their life that they feel like they've got to push it off, or they don't want you to find some stuff. So that's the real reason why Shelly, and it's unfortunate because she's really the only thing and then there's some haters like Brett McMurphy really has to get this checked at this point. Like, there's people who hate her for her involvement or what we believe her involvement was in Zach Davis stuff. So they're like,
Zach
karma.
Smith. Zach Smith.
My bad. Whoa. Yeah. Sorry. Zach Davis, phenomenal person.
Yes, upstanding
guy.
Yes.
I know. I know it's Zach Davis. That's probably why I went there. I know it's Zach Davis. But I think Zach Smith stuff, and they're trying to judge her. And I'm like, man, leave that chick alone.
Yeah.
She all right.
Well, the flip side of that is the young woman. Her mom has come out. Have you seen this? And her mom has said she can't leave her house, or she's scared to leave her house because of, I don't even know, people looking at her. I don't know. I mean, I'll go same energy a little bit in that. Why are you saying anything to this girl? Like, she didn't do anything to you. Like, leave her alone. But then at the same time, it's not completely wrong. Just like Urban had to come out his house and answer all the questions. He knew what he's doing. I don't have to judge you, but I do understand there's consequences, right? Like, if you go do something stupid, I'm still here for you, but you have to suffer some consequences.
I think I've told you that before. Remember, you never did it. Or somebody did come at you, and I defended you on that one. Like, every now and then you'll see the really solid white person that'll say something that gets misinterpreted as racist or something.
Right.
I'm gonna judge the situation. I'm gonna look at it.
I said something?
No. Well, remember the person tried to come at you for training all the black quarterbacks.
Yeah.
I was like, no, I'm gonna defend that one.
Yeah.
But I had an attorney friend of mine. We actually had him on the show, I believe, when Telvin got on all this.
Okay.
He literally copied and pasted verbatim rap lyrics and tweeted it
with the word.
If it's rap lyrics, the word's in there somewhere. And
it had the word, or it had like the N with the star and the question mark.
I had the full word in there.
Oh dear.
Full word in there.
Oh dear.
Full word in there. And he was getting heat. And he was like, dude, come on, man. You know me. I said, hold up. First, time out. I quote rap lyrics all the time. And you don't ever see me put that word in there. And I'm supposed to have free license to use it. I'm not dumb enough to do that. I said, I'm here for you. I'll defend you like as a person on the side. We can still talk. I ain't gonna block you. I'm not gonna tell people, but you're gonna have to take this heat a little bit, because that's how you're gonna learn a lesson.
Especially when you read contracts for a living all day. You couldn't just read that 140 characters at the time. And
I always tell people, man, listen, dog, all you gotta do is just that's why I say house word in Pilgrim. People say that certain things offend them. I don't use words. I try to be creative. There's a ton of words in the English language that we can use. When somebody really goes out the way and says that's offensive, I tend to shy away from that, because I ain't Dave Chappelle yet. Now, if I was Dave Chappelle and couldn't be canceled, it was not canceled. We're not good enough at what we do, I believe, to be cancel proof. We're good, but I don't care there's
different levels. Like there's different levels for that, actually, because we're at that level. If we did something that high, it may actually boost us with a certain segment.
Right.
But then it would come back to get us. Like,
once we give you excelling.
Right. We're not high enough to get canceled. We're just low enough in that fringe area where it may boost us for like a month, and then it's going to come crashing down. One of the
best things that, even though I'm kind of going back to it a little bit now, but it was one of the best things about having my Twitter deleted.
Oh,
yeah. Because stuff from like between 2009 and 2012, there was some stuff in there, man, that nothing bad. It's just, some of the slogans and some of the things.
And it's been long enough now where now you're confident nobody screenshot or it would have come out.
Oh, yeah, it would have been come out.
Yeah.
It's just because when you finally get to where you need to be at, you're doing good, you're a politician or you're whatever, and then they say,
what's going to happen? James going to get some like ESPN contract. He's going to be on his way, and then Twitter's going to be like, what, on second thought, we're going to reinstate that account.
Like,
and it's going to pop back up.
Part of it was one funny thing that did happen was I had talked about, we were talking about sexual things or something like that. Nothing overly grotesque. I was just like, hey, I've never been with this type of woman before. And what do people do? Somebody finds this picture from my MySpace account that I don't even know how to log into. It was a picture of me with two nice looking white women. Gorgeous, actually really good looking. I'm young, I'm 20, 21, fit. And they're like, hey, I said, dude, that was in the club. What the Urban Meyer situation? People assume woman picture in the club,
right?
You had to have done something.
Right.
I'm like, what if they were just Florida State fans at the time? But it is what it is, but it didn't derail me. It was just funny that
I was gonna say people took offense to
no.
Oh, they
It was
tried
just,
to prove
I
you
said
wrong.
something that I didn't do something, and they tried to prove me wrong.
Like this young lady, I hope she lives her life and does well and all that kind of stuff. But again, like, I don't care how old you are, you knew who you were grinding up on. Like, you knew he was a married man. There's going to be consequences.
That was
to that.
The funny part is
you give it a week and nobody's gonna talk about it. Nobody's gonna remember who you are. It's like that's the reality of it. And you're right. Like we said this Wednesday, the apologies have to be done. No more apologies, Herbs. If something else comes out, you probably just need to walk away, like, at that point. But for this incident and the previous, I don't know, couple hundred that we know about you, you're done apologizing because you're so good, because your success has been so high level for so long. By Wednesday of that week, you're good to go again.
Right. Just win, man.
Well, and that's what I was really getting to is Titans come to town this week in a game that I feel like probably would have had very little interest overall on not just a national level, but even a local level outside of it being the Titans and nobody likes the Titans. Now is ramped up. Now there's attention to it. Now there's questions of how are they going to respond? How are they going to play? All that kind of stuff. I feel like if Urban Meyer wouldn't have had this eventful night, I would have said Titans by 20. Because of this eventful night, it's either going to be Titans by 40 or the Jags are going to win. Like, now I'm intrigued by it. Not intrigued enough to do an instant reaction show, just for the record, but I'm intrigued by it. Do you agree with me on that or no?
NFL is great theater already. No matter what kind of game is, there's very, very little blowouts. If you watch last night's game, the Rams versus the Seahawks, it looked like it should have been blown out the water, but they seem to have played better with the change. Defense changes when a new quarterback comes in. Geno Smith plays well. You think they actually have a chance. Just watching the game in general by itself is good theater, even when it's bad teams playing.
That atmosphere last night, bro.
Now you add all these things. Now it gets to, who it gets more involved into the game. Now your wife watches the game because this is the Real Housewives of Atlanta shit. This isn't like stuff that, like, men, we have, like, not we per se, because neither one of us watch this, but a lot of men have their own versions of soap operas. Like, wrestling is what a lot of it basically, if you don't believe that's a soap opera with a little bit of athleticism, I don't know what to tell you. Keep living in your fantasy imaginary world. Like, the outcomes ain't real. The athleticism is, but the outcomes ain't. But now you're starting to add storylines that you would see on Tuesday afternoon after Good Morning America with the soap operas, with athleticism played out. And you don't know how will the young quarterback survive, knowing that his potential boss is an adulterer. Tune in later for as the Jaguar turns. He's telling people stuff that makes it even more intriguing. Like, I don't know what the game plan's going to be. That'll be up to the players. Now I'm like, yo, am I going to see James Robinson with a script? Am I going to see?
What was that movie where the players started signaling in the play after they fired the guy at halftime? Or if he didn't come out,
not Friday Night.
No,
Varsity Blues.
Varsity Blues.
Yeah,
that would be dope. Don't let Herbs come out after halftime. And I want to see freaking CJ Beathard and DJ Chark, who's hurt, because we're in that movie. Somebody was the quarterback. The quarterback. I want to see them over there signaling. What was the hook and ladder thing?
You know what? That might have been the signaling of, or the precursor to, the lost decade of Florida State. Because if you remember correctly, that quarterback was supposed to be going to Florida State, and he tore his ACL, and like everything, it got a little rough. We had to start.
What was the coach's name? Bud Kilmer?
Yeah, so I think that sounds close enough. Whatever.
We're going with that. I want to see a Bud Kilmer situation play out. If y'all really mad, Jag players, I want to see a Bud. Don't let him out the locker room at halftime.
Whoa! I just thought about something. I'd never connected because I have separated these two entities.
Okay.
So the Cons, right?
Okay.
They own a soccer club.
Uh-huh.
They own a professional football team.
And they own wrestling.
And they own wrestling.
Yeah.
They have married the wrestling with football before.
Big enterprise.
They had Charlie Strong throwing footballs to somebody.
Urban was even in
Urban
it.
was in the office. So when your team stinks and they're defeated, what better way to get your team back in the public eye than this?
That's a great point.
Like, you may not make the money. You may not make the money in the seats.
They're about to lose 20 in a row, so I'm here for it.
You got to have.
We got to cover it.
Yeah, give me something.
Yeah. So I don't know if they're going to win. Who knows? Who knows how they're going to play? Like, the Jags are that team right now that if you pick them to win, you're picking with your heart. It's like there's no reason to pick them to win. They've lost 19 in a row. You literally cannot give me a single reason why you would pick them to ever win a football game. Ever. So I don't think they're going to win, but I will be dialed in. Moving on a little bit. Wrap that up. Make sure you get to ABC. Have you? Yep. Okay. Let's talk a little bit of Florida State, and then I want to get into something that you pointed out in our group chat with Alabama, and then we'll get into our college football pick'ems. Florida plays Vanderbilt this week. Florida State goes to North Carolina this week. Florida. I'm trying to say, Florida fans, stop DMing me. Stop. Okay. I legit, and like I've talked to this guy before, and he's actually a really cool dude. But literally, the other night I get a DM. This guy tells me, Dan Mullen sucks as a coach. Dan Mullen has not developed anybody. Okay, follow me on this. Dan Mullen's position coaches are terrible. Okay, and Dan Mullen cannot recruit. Says all these things.
Wow.
So I respond to him, how in the hell is Dan Mullen winning 10 games a year then? Like, explain that to me. And then he just goes on and on. And then he's like, I'm like, when you say he doesn't develop anybody, you do realize he's got Dak, he's got Felipe, he's got Trask, all playing in the NFL right now. Like, you do realize that. You do realize that Florida, who didn't have a receiver for the better part of 8 years after Urban left, all of them are playing in the NFL right now. And all of them are having success. Like, you do realize that every DB that comes out of Florida since he's gotten there has gotten drafted. Just about.
Even the shoe thrower.
He's playing well.
That everybody hated.
He's playing well. Like, Florida fans, I get that you're frustrated. I get that you're upset. Don't come at me with the season's over. I don't want to hear that. Like, we can just agree to disagree. But y'all are being irrational now.
It just comes down to what we were talking about on last week's show. And I did not mean any disrespect to it. It was just purely what the numbers. We pick on Georgia about this all the time. Now, Georgia's more irrational, if you want to talk about who's more irrational. But Georgia, somewhere in their mind,
I don't know,
has believed that every year they should play for a national championship. And I wasn't alive and you were young. Like a baby, or not baby, but you were a lot younger when they won.
I was 4.
Yeah, so I'm just saying, like, that's like not like very few people. There are the people making decisions in life right now were either young or not alive. The last time Georgia.
I mean, just think about the things that had not yet been invented when Georgia. Electric windows.
Like
I'm not even talking about the internet or
seatbelts. Having to wear a seatbelt wasn't.
Oh God, dude! I don't even. Half the cars probably didn't have seatbelts. And we should do that one day. Like,
things this is the last time they won. My point in that is Florida fans, like, you guys have this unrealistic expectation that having to win, if you don't win a national championship, your life is over. And I don't want you to lower the standard per se. That should be one of your pillars, is to compete for a national championship. But just because you don't do that doesn't mean your season is over. You still have a chance to win out and get the East, which means that you still have a chance to be able. I'm just saying, like, yes, Kentucky has to do a lot more things. I get it. I understand. No, it's just still there, which means if you win the East, you have a shot to win the SEC. Which also means even if you don't win either of those two, you still have a chance to play in the January bowl game if you win out. There's a lot of things that you can still be out here playing for. Relax. Stuff happens. That's why you play the game. You have next year to play for. You don't just lose all the games right now and then hope that they get better next year.
Correct.
You want the guys who are
part of your program. Building your program.
You want to develop. That's development. So I don't go out here and beat the. Here's how you build your program and you consistently stay top in recruiting. And when it actually peaks, it peaks. The teams that you're supposed to quote unquote lose to or have a struggle with, beat them every now and then or have a struggle. Don't get blown out.
Right.
The teams you're supposed to step on their necks with, you step on their necks.
That's right. No.
Go out. Vanderbilt should be a stat game. But if you go out and you disrespect Vanderbilt, then you're gonna be frustrated. But I think your guys are good.
Bro, Jimmy Carter was president.
Yeah. Wow.
Magic Johnson was a rookie.
Jeez.
Just marinating that one for a second. Magic Johnson was a rookie the last time Georgia won a natty. Pac-Man was released.
Oh, wow. Jeez, I actually thought Pac-Man was older than that. That's crazy.
Pac-Man was released, bro. Crazy stuff. I mean, the Gators aren't going to struggle. They're not going to do anything with Vanderbilt that's going to make me change my mind about what happened last week or what's going to happen in previous weeks. They have LSU and Georgia this month. Okay, so we'll see when we get to those. You know what's going on. I don't know what's going on with Anthony Richardson. Okay, let me rephrase that. I do know. I'm not telling you. But I don't know how much he's going to play. I have no idea. I said this all week. He did not look well against Kentucky. He did not look like there was something different when he took off against Kentucky than when he took off earlier in the year. So I don't know what that means. I told him that. I told him, I didn't think you looked great.
Mm-hmm.
Be careful. But I don't know the reasons. I don't know if it's rust. I don't know if it's, hey, Kentucky's defense is okay. But a college coach I talked to last night, a top 10 in the country power or a ranked college coach, made this observation to me. He's like, you know what I don't understand? He's like, Georgia, Alabama, and Kentucky basically run the same defense. Every time Mullen plays Alabama, he schemes them up. Like nobody else does. He beats Georgia last year. He schemes up that defense. What is it about Kentucky? Because he's like, everybody's talking about Kentucky just has their number. They do the same thing that Georgia and Alabama do with not as good of athletes. Like, that's a great question. Why can he scheme up Nick Saban and Kirby Smart, two of the best defensive minds, but can't scheme up Stoops?
It's respecting. And it goes back to what all Florida fans are saying about how we lost to Kentucky, right?
Mm-hmm.
What they're saying is that he's managed to do something 2 times that no Florida coach had done for 30 years, something crazy. Yeah. You don't respect this team that, if we're being frank, in the last decade, you've got them. They deserve your respect because they probably should have a winning record over you for the past decade.
Well, they at least should have won 4, yeah.
Right. I mean, since Stoops has been there, if we think about the one time when Stoops decided 2 times not to cover a wide receiver, the kick that Florida made at the last minute that technically was when regulation was over, doesn't matter. They didn't review it or anything. It's just a bunch of things that Florida's won.
Yep.
You always
it's always
say,
been a weird game.
Like you've said, teams that good teams find a way to win. Bad teams find. Kentucky's we used to call it Clemsoning at Florida State before Clemson turned the corner. You know what Saban is. You know what Kirby is and what he's proven to you. You just ask Kentucky, okay, they run the same defense, but we beat them 28 out of the last 30 years.
Yeah.
And you go in and you game plan, and it's a good game plan, but you coach to the level of the competition that you're playing. And so another example, right? No matter how good Miami is or how bad Miami is, that's always typically been, there's very, very few blowouts in the rivalry between Miami and Florida State.
Mm-hmm.
The way the coaches coach, I could tell when it was rivalry week because the coaches go from relax to butthole.
Yep.
Ain't no way Urban could have got up in that.
Yep.
That's how tight it is. And it's just every little thing they are on you about because they want to beat Miami so bad.
Yeah.
Then the next week we play Waco. Okay, listen, James. If you false stepped again, but
it's just Wake.
It's just Wake. I false. God, he's like Mr. Go 30 on me. He's like false stepped again, huh? Didn't pull out fast enough. Which father would have pulled out fast enough 18 years ago. Just something like that. Like things that are unnecessary that they'll say to you. But I think that's really the big.
Well, go to Florida State because Florida State, North Carolina, I can't get out of my head the North Carolina Georgia Tech game. Georgia Tech's improved, but they're not world beaters, and they beat the tar out of physically beat them. North Carolina didn't have an answer for Jeff. It didn't look like the same North Carolina team that we saw last year, absent of Florida State. Those two running backs were legit. Those two running backs helped them a ton. Florida State can beat North Carolina. They did it last year, but I'm saying this year, if Jordan Travis gets back there, he runs around. I don't mean this disrespectfully. I think he's kind of like Jeff, maybe like a poor man's Jeff a little bit. I think Jeff throws the ball better. But he can pose the same issues that Jeff Sims at Georgia Tech posed to North Carolina, which they obviously didn't have an answer for. If you put him in the right position, I think Florida State can win this game. And if they win this game, the next week they have UMass. Now all of a sudden you're talking about a 3-game win streak.
Right.
Now all of a sudden it's a whole different energy in Tallahassee than it was this time last week.
Fair. Here's what people don't know. People are fooled by, and I don't mean this in a disrespectful manner. It's a quarterback-driven league right now. People are fooled by the Sam Howell feel. But what they forget about is that it's a lot more to this game than just that. And they see what happened last year, and there was a lot of just a lot of fools. They had really good running backs. They had really good wide receivers, and they just they caught lightning in a bottle. But North Carolina's recruited pretty well the last few years.
They always have, though. Yeah.
But they're having issues on the offensive line, just like most schools. But they're definitely having issues on the offensive line. And why I think Florida State could win is because the things that teams did to win. Like I'm looking at, rushing yards. Virginia Tech beat them. Georgia Tech didn't beat them in the passing game. Like Jeff had to throw it a little bit. It wasn't like they ran a wing team.
Jeff ran for 150.
He ran for, I believe, if I'm thinking correctly, he might have ran for more yards than he threw it.
Yeah, it was right about even. Yeah.
So what does Florida State actually do very well? They run the ball very well, especially off of play action. And they've got, I believe it or not, their defensive line is probably the strength of their team. You've got Keir Thomas. You've got Jermaine Johnson. These guys are playing well enough to get drafted this year. So your strengths actually align with their biggest weaknesses. Now, if Sam Howell tries to go back here and throw the ball 40, 50 times a game, it's right in your hands, Florida State. Now, if they can figure out how to, because Florida State isn't the greatest at stopping the run right now. So if they run right at them, then, it's kind of like with boxing. You find the boxer that you think is just all world.
Yeah.
And he fights the guy that has like 5 or 6 losses and people don't understand it. And it's all about style matchups. That's why you see, again, that might be, even though they run the same defense, but that's going back to what you were saying. It's just a style matchup. And again, North Carolina, these guys, Florida State their senior class is one of the first senior classes that will ever go that's never had a winning season if they don't win this year. So what that means is North Carolina doesn't know a Florida State team that's won. And the last winning season they had was 7-6.
They got beat by Florida State last year.
They did, but still, at the end of the day, it's still hard. You're
saying they could overlook.
They can overlook. It's just like with the Jags. The Jags can beat the Texans every year, but everybody's still coming until the Jags prove that they're consistently winners. Everybody see, okay, we got 0 right there. That should be 2 wins right there. No matter who it is. And right now, it's so much so to the fact that the Louisvilles of the world, the Syracuses of the world, they believe that they can go in here every year and compete.
Yeah.
So I think what Mike has to do is package this win and say, hey, guys, we finally grit through 4 quarters and won a game that we know we could very easily be 4-1 right now. There's only one team that literally took that whooped our ass for 4 quarters. And that was Wake Forest. Everybody else on our schedule right now arguably isn't playing as well as Wake Forest right now.
Mm-hmm.
So we can go out here and show what our worth is and show the world that we're coming here. So he's got to teach them how to win. And no better way to teach somebody how to win than coming out here and beating an opponent that nobody thinks you can.
What do y'all go, North Carolina, UMass, Clemson?
Yes. You got a bye week before. No. We got North Carolina. Yeah, we got a bye week before Clemson. Yeah.
You win these next 2, man, it's a different season.
No, I'm wrong. I keep saying it. North Carolina, bye week next week. UMass, Clemson.
Ugh.
I think in
bye
theory.
Week before UMass?
In theory, I believe it was like we got 2 bye weeks before we play Clemson. But right now, I don't know what team's showing up. That UMass game could be
they're bad.
The
bro.
Fighting Walt Bells.
They're bad.
And
man.
Dante Pimpleton's coming back. They might win one.
Is that where he's at?
Yeah, he's at UMass.
Let's get to executive health spa real quick before we get to this next thing. Executive health and med spa. Make sure you get over there for anything that you need. We talk about, all of the testosterone and help with if you've got some manly issues, all that kind of stuff. But they also have a ton of just recovery type of things for you. If you work out a lot or something like that, maybe you need to go hop in that sauna. Maybe you need to go hop in that hyperbaric chamber. Maybe you need to go do a lot of the things that they have that are just kind of maintenance type things that make you feel better, that make you recover faster, that gets your blood flowing a little bit better, gets the inflammation down, all that kind of stuff. You can get to Executive Health and Med Spa. It's a nice place over off of St. John's Bluff, my bad. What's the website again? I can never remember. NFL
Health Spa.
That's it? There's no executive in it?
No.
Just NFL Health Spa?
Let's try it again. This is good advertising. I'm wrong. NEFLExecutivehealth.com.
So there is no med spa in it either. Okay, so James was completely wrong.
Well, I said health spa. There's no spa in there, and there's no med. It's NEFLExecutivehealth.com. Go get all of your stuff.
Yeah, there you go.
Get back young again. That's the whole feel. That should be the 5 for the rest of 21 and going through 22.
I'm kind of doing that myself. Like I'm trying. It's not working. Because I don't want to get to the end of the year and be like, you know what, January 1st, I'm going to start doing this. Like, I want to end the year like that. Mm-hmm. And then it's January 1st. It's like, all right, I got the momentum. That's a good point. They can help you do that. You don't wait till January 1st to feel good. Start feeling good on October 8th. Like, why are you waiting for a date? Get in there, see them, get to feeling good. Executive Health and Med Spa. I put that there because we're going to get to facilities and we're going to let a video just kind of play behind us with no sound of what Alabama's doing. $200 million in a facility. $200 million, right? There's other schools doing this too. Oregon is getting ready to do it. Now, we're not talking about schools that have fallen behind and need to spend all this money to catch up. We're not talking about, like in the NFL sense, what's going to happen in Jacksonville in a couple of years where you have a stadium that's been around for over 30 years that really nothing outside of a pool's happened to, that now you've got to completely redo. We're talking about schools that if you walk into them now, they're already in the top 5 in facilities that are saying, you know what, we want to stay there. We don't ever want to catch up. So we're going to put $200 million into the business that is college football, so that we can recruit, recover, and impress, basically.
Mm-hmm.
That's basically what it is.
And also make more money off of your fan base.
How does the facility do that?
We got the video?
Yeah.
I got some other things that, we want to, I'm going into, because I don't know if it shows.
You got the sound all the way down on that? Okay.
So this right here just shows the football facility, and that's part of it. You might want to fast because they can't hear those guys talk anyway. But you don't facility. Most fans are always like, you got to win games, right?
Uh-huh.
recruits win games or blah, blah, blah. The facilities don't matter. And I had a good friend of mine who's a big FSU fan. Facilities don't matter until you see facilities and realize they do matter. So he talked about Georgia having a saltwater swimming pool.
Mm-hmm.
And like how you go into that swimming pool, you spend an hour or something in there. It's the equivalent of 6 hours of recovery by being in there. Like you hear that, and the first thing you think about is, oh man, my body, how is it going to rehab? Clemson has sleep chambers.
Mm-hmm.
We talk about executive health spa with hyperbaric chambers. Basically, it's easy for the common civilian to think about these things because you don't get a chance to rehab your body. Most of you don't even work out. But like what happens when you pull your hamstring when you're playing pickup basketball? You go to a doctor, the first thing the doctor tells you to do is rest because that's not how you earn your money. But as an athlete, if you thought like an athlete, you'd be going to Northeast Executive Health Spa, getting the hyperbaric chamber, getting in the sauna, getting in some of these things. Well, that's what these whole guy's life revolves around, is getting prepared for the next level and amenities that make you not want to leave.
Mm-hmm.
Hell, even an 8-year-old went to Florida State who's, I say they're top 25, but like they need to step up if they want to compete. Yeah, they're not. It's not. There's 25 facilities in America that are better than Florida State.
Yes, just like there's 25 better than Florida.
I don't know about 25. I wouldn't give him. I would say 20, but because again, it's not bad. But again, he walks in, sees a movie theater, sees an arcade, sees these things, and he's like, "Yo, they really have all of these things." Imagine that on steroids.
Mm-hmm.
Or on HGH or on testosterone or any of these things. And that's what Alabama has. But what makes Alabama even more impressive, right? And this is the conversation that I was having. And you'll see like the stuff where they're talking about the football only facility is Bama is building their basically a history of Alabama football. And it's going to resemble the College Football Hall of Fame in Atlanta. And this is how it helps with recruiting. And fans pay $25 to go visit it.
Okay.
But with that, you are getting an opportunity to go. There's a half field in there where you'll get a chance to relive some of the greatest moments in Alabama football history while you're on this field. So you're getting a chance. So even if it's raining and the game ain't going on, you can go feel what it feels like to be in Alabama atmosphere through the years. They're going to have they're talking about getting a hologram of Bear Bryant giving a speech to the team. You want to know what it felt like when they won the Iron Bowl and something? All right, they're gonna give you that similar. By
the way, the hologram business is thriving. I just had a conference call about that. It's crazy what's about to happen with holograms.
A Heisman section, a room for the eras of their championships, like all these different things that are all it's going to do is give you the entire like inoculation of the Alabama experience. We ooze championships. See, like Alabama, even though I believe a lot of their championships are fictional, they have a history of we win championships. Mm-hmm. So not winning a national championship right now in the new era, you'll be one of the worst. Even if you went 11-1, not winning when you're one of the worst teams that they've had in recent history. So I can get that. But what they're doing now on the recruiting side, not just recruiting players, recruiting fans, families, the guys who are there now it's also their revenue creating opportunities.
See, it's interesting because your explanation of the facility and what it does, I like that because we get in this conversation all the time where I do with people and when they talk about how big are facilities in recruiting, and I don't think it's as big as I don't think it has been as big as what people want to make it out to be. But with that being said, when you start to pump $200-300 million into a facility, now it is. Like the average person can't walk into an $80 million facility and a $60 million facility and see the difference. Mm-hmm. You walk into, which I think Florida's spending 80. I think Florida State's spending somewhere in that range, right? Like it's somewhere in that as well. You start talking about a facility that's 4 times that. But because the 200 million is just this one, right? That's not counting the other 180 they've already spent. Georgia gets done with an amazing new addition of their facility. They're breaking ground on the next.
Right.
Like now you're starting to get into that area where those 25 to 50 kids that truly have every school to make as a decision, now you're starting to persuade them. Because even 4-star kids and high 3-star kids, there's a great percentage of them that only have 10 options. They don't have legit.
Right.
They don't have 60 options.
Mm-hmm.
Right. There's a very few of those, but those are the ones that win you football games. Like
Mm-hmm.
those are the ones that this type of stuff matters.
It kind of reminds me, I think it was, remember Barbershop 2?
I don't think I saw 2.
No, all right. Well, you know the Barbershop series, right? Mm-hmm. So there was a new barbershop coming in town that threatened the shop called Nappy Cuts.
Nappy Cuts.
That was, if I remember correctly. But the whole thing was, man, I heard they got fish in the floor, and you can point at the fish, and then they'll fry the fish up however you want it. That's basically what these facilities are becoming. It's like you can go over like 20, like to put it in perspective, Miami's indoor practice facility might be 25,000 square feet. Jokes. I don't know how big
it's actually really nice.
It's nice. I'm just saying jokes. But I had a facility, nice training facilities are 25,000+ square feet. Think where you train out of both sides is like roughly like 30.
Mine's like almost 15.
Yeah. So imagine Alabama's eating facility. The training table is bigger than that.
Yeah.
Like you go and you see all these different things and you see the investment. It makes you want to be a part of that. You feel like you're fully vested. Alabama, what makes them different, or I'm assuming Oregon, because I don't really know what happens out west a lot. I'll say this about Georgia, because Georgia, I was talking with a guy the other day. Georgia fans remember players that I have no idea who they are, but they were obviously somebody there. They do a good job of SEC in general, but Alabama and Georgia are vested as fans, vested as a school, all into their program. So the money making opportunities for an athlete with the NIL, it ain't even about that. It's about, I could come here and I'm going to have every resource available to me to be able. They have the cryotherapy chambers. Holy crap. Love it. I love cryo.
And it ain't a small one either. Bro.
Yeah,
it ain't the one like
that's not the one that we went. So you don't even have to like worry about. You can walk around in that bad boy.
Yeah, man.
Like the cryotherapy chamber that we used to have with my boy Joe. Like you could do a little small turn.
That's like a commercial freezer,
basically.
Like that is.
That's where if I were having a turkey drive, that's where I would put all my turkeys at. But the point is that it's either you're going to get busy spending or you're going to get left behind. And that's just really where it comes down to. There is no way to explain it. Your school, if they're not spending money, that's one of the massage table, isn't it? This is just crazy with these things in this video. If you're not watching this on YouTube, but it's
like a combination float tank massage table. It's like,
I tell you this much: if I were a parent, right, and I had a 5-star prospect, and it was to go here. The only thing I would put in there can when dad comes to visit, because dad's body's banged up, can dad come and hang out on some of this stuff? And if they tell me yes, hey, where do we sign? You need me? He's 17. You need me to sign? Or is he good? Okay, he's good. All right, cool. But I mean, those are the cool things. And it's just the money's coming from somewhere. And you can do it. It's just a choice. But
on that note, I want to take this opportunity to put this out into the universe right now, because somebody may be listening to this that owns some big company, and we need you, because James and I would like to do, and if you steal our idea, I'm going to be really angry with you, but we would like to bring cribs back, but with college football facilities. We would like to go and bring to you crib style tours where players are giving us a tour of the facility that they live out of, work out of every single day. It's just expensive to do it. We need a sponsor is what I'm getting to. Mm-hmm. We need somebody that's got some big money to put behind us on that. Because I do think if you didn't go to Alabama and you didn't go to Clemson, you didn't go to Oregon, you didn't go to Georgia, if you went to Florida State, if you went to Florida, and I've said this before, and you're just, a fan that really loves the game, you would come out of there and be like, holy cow, that was amazing. And then you would go to these places.
Mm-hmm. I remember when Oregon technically jump-started it, which is kind of wild that Oregon doesn't have but Alabama caught up really, really quick.
Yeah.
Because Oregon was the first to put the it was LCD then. touchscreen TVs in, and we were just like, why would you do all of that and blah blah blah. Then they built their football only, or their sports only, it wasn't football only then, was all glass on the outside. So like you could see, I remember seeing the updates, reading the ESPN, the magazine articles. You're like, all right, that's cool. And then you're like, then you look at your locker and you're like, okay, our locker was done in 1999 and this is okay. And
then you see LSU.
And then you see everybody else doing theirs and you're like, okay. But the crazy thing is the minute Oregon got their new locker room in like 01, 02, they were talking about what they're going to do next. And then they're talking about what they're going to do next. And you see some of the stuff, like Florida State has the pictures of their football only if you go into the player lounge, and they've made some way better than what it was when I was there. But it's still pales in comparison.
It's light years behind
to all these other people. And what you got to do is, the only way to catch up is, don't worry about Bama right now. They're too far ahead. The system's going to reset itself once Saban.
Well, you can't catch up with Bama till you catch up with Northwestern and Ole Miss and Kentucky and
leather helmet money. Don't worry about it. But what I mean is, like, instead of even Florida, instead of going 60 million, like, and I get it. Oh, this is great, and yeah, fans.
The problem with Florida is they don't carry debt. That's what
I'm saying. Like, dude, go big or go home.
Yeah.
To quote Jay-Z, I'd rather die enormous than live dormant. Like, why do it in?
Let me argue with you for a second on that, because I do think that there's, like I said earlier, there's let's be generous and say there's 50 kids every year coming out of high school that are so desired that they can pick between Alabama, Clemson, Ohio State, Oregon, like all those schools. So even in Alabama's best recruiting year, they get like 5 or 6 of those, right? If the other way you could go with that is you could say, okay, we're going to stick to our plan. We're going to have a nice facility. We're going to have an upper third facility, but we're going to spend our money in coaches, and we're going to have to develop high 3 and 4 stars, because we're not going to get the 5 stars. Like, you're always going to have that need as well, because if your plan is I want to get every 5 star, you're not going to do that.
Well, no, what I mean is that you don't have to spend $288 million. But if you see somebody spending $288 million,
you better spend half that,
and you're spending 60, you're already behind.
Yep.
You need to be spending 120 to at least catch up.
No, you're right. You're right.
And like I tell somebody, we were talking about HBCUs. And first and foremost, I always believe HBCUs don't need to be in the NCAA. It's no benefit. Leave. Could have been paying athletes 10 years ago if somebody would have paid attention to what I wrote. But bigger than that, you can actually follow Alabama's blueprint. There's money, especially if you have a state school. You have the money. You might just not think to do that. So you ain't gonna be able to pay $100,000 to your off-field analyst, right?
Mm-hmm.
You can go and get basically the state temp worker thing and pay them $32,000. There's a ton of people who I know who want to get their foot in the door in coaching. Same thing with Florida State. If Alabama has 10 on fields, 10 off fields, 10 analysts, 10 in the 10 people that work in recruiting as 10 on field, 10 analysts, 10 student assistants in recruiting, 10 people in your office, 10 student assistants. Basically, you should be mirroring everything that they're doing and doing it to the best of your possibility, or what you can afford to do. The problem is not just coaches. Probably some coaches may not know that many people to be able to do that. But 2, you're not as invested as you are, and neither is the people who the infrastructure to support you. But the only way to get to this level is that, because let's say you are the top school, and let's say in 10 years Saban decides to hang it up. They ain't going for the next Saban disciple per se. They're going for who the hottest coach is.
Who can keep them where they're at.
And keep them where they're at. So let's say, hypothetically speaking, the Dan Mullen's already in it. He's going to be in the NFL by then. Let's say Mike Norvell does bring Florida State back to prominence. Why the hell would he stay there when there's that?
Oh yeah, no.
They can offer you more money, better facilities, and a commitment over decades to a program. So if you guys are talking about losing's okay and we don't need this, that doesn't need to be your mentality. Actually, the mentality that a lot of fans have, I'm not going or I'm not supporting because they're losing. You can't have that either if you're trying to catch the Bama.
Right.
All you're going to do is create a larger hole.
Let's get to Green Acres, our Friday pick'ems. Make sure you get to Green Acres. This weekend's a great time to go. It's a great time to go to Green Acres on the weekend off Normandy Boulevard. Huge selection of everything that you need for your Second Amendment rights. We're talking about guns, we're talking about knives, tasers, we're talking about bows, we're talking about fishing gear, we're talking about boots, we're talking about coolers, we're talking whatever you need. Get to greenacresporting.com or go to Green Acres Sporting Goods. It's next week, right?
Yep, Tuesday.
Tuesday is the concealed carry class.
Go on Facebook. Register. I'm gonna make an announcement in the Facebook group. We're getting sandwiches. So whatever sandwich you want.
Oh yeah,
yeah. If you don't tell me, I'm getting you pork.
Pork?
Ham.
Okay.
Just brand or bologna.
This is ham or turkey.
No, I want people to actually do what you're supposed to do. I'm gonna put in there. You need if you show up and you're not either on interested or on reserved, I'm not. Like, you're going to come hungry. It's fine. I don't mind that. That's cool with me. But go RSVP so we can know exactly how many people got.
Just get to Green Acres.
Get to Green Acres.
That's
it's $50, $49.95. They won't give you your nickel back either.
No, it's $50. So our ESPN thing really angered me last week. Or maybe I should be angry. You know what? I should be angry at myself. I messed up last week. I would have had another banner week. I had a pretty good week. I was, I think, 7-3 last week. I would have been 8-2 again, but I hit the wrong button. I sat here and talked about how I thought Georgia was going to cover, but I hit Arkansas. Yeah. But for all of, I have big news on this. For everybody who started when we started or when I started, I'm leading.
Oh, nice.
How about that? There's a couple people that started before me that have a couple more points. I am 24-16 on the year. You had a better week last week.
I did, but I still
17-33.
I'm still
Oh no, you didn't. You were 3-7 last week.
I was?
Yeah.
I think I would have won the games. I just didn't the points thing. That's hard.
The spread.
Yeah, the spread thing is killing me, man.
Well, let's get going this week. Red River rivalry.
Mm-hmm.
Say that a couple times as fast as you can. Oklahoma -3.5. Oklahoma is favored by 3.5 to beat the Texas Longhorns. Oklahoma's 6th in the country, 5-0. Texas is 4-1. Solid. That's solid. First-year coach, ranked 21st in the country. Spencer Rattler needs to have a big game. He knows he needs to have a big game. For that reason, I'm going Oklahoma.
Oklahoma. Sorry, L'Oreal. Sorry, Mrs. Sarkeesian.
Oh, there you go. The next one, Arkansas at Ole Miss. Arkansas 4-1, Ole Miss 3-1. Arkansas is 13th in the country. Ole Miss is 17th. Ole Miss favored by 4.5. Both of these teams got humbled last week in a very big way. Man, this is a hard one to pick. I'm gonna go Arkansas in this.
Okay.
Just because I think Arkansas defensively can do a little bit of what Bama did. Like, just not to the degree they did.
Right.
But I think they can put pressure on Corral. I think they can scheme up Ole Miss. I'm not a big Lane Kiffin guy. So I'm going to take Arkansas in this.
Okay. I like Pittman.
Mm-hmm.
I like Lane more than I like Browse. So I'm going to go with Ole Miss.
You and Browse, man. I'm going to let you take the next one first. It's maybe the game of the week, possibly. Georgia and Auburn. Georgia 14.5-point favorites. I was supposed to be at this game, actually. I'm not going. This is Holden is taking his official this week, the Auburn commit. 14.5-point favorites. Georgia is over Auburn, at Auburn. 3:30 kick. Where are you going with this one?
I'm with Georgia.
Giving up 14.5.
That's still a lot, but I mean, hell, they can score 14 points on defense with Bo Nix back there. I like what he did the other day. It was great. He got one of those hymns things, what he did again, like all the scrambling and stuff. I saw the shirt, awesome NIL opportunity for him.
Yep.
I just think he's an average quarterback and I feel like he's been playing forever.
I actually couldn't agree with you more. The same thing that I said last week with Georgia, Arkansas. It's not as big of a gap, but I feel the same way. Georgia just has dudes over Auburn. And this defense, by Georgia standards, is elite.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, it is historically talented. So if you think you're just going to run around against them and throw the ball after 7 or 8 seconds, you're going off the field in like in an ambulance.
Right.
That's not your game plan. I like where Auburn's headed. I like Brian Harsin a lot. This ain't it, Auburn. Georgia, this may be their year, man. This could be Georgia's year. I'm going to take Georgia and the points. Gosh. Wake Forest and Syracuse.
Wake is clearly a touchdown better than Syracuse.
I'm going to have to go with you on this because I don't know anything about either one of these teams.
Yeah, Syracuse, Wake's way more disciplined on defense than Florida State and has a better offense. I just don't think Syracuse is any good.
At Syracuse, 6.5 point spread. By the way, you can join us in the college football pick'em. Just go to ESPN and search the Sports Den. Boise State, BYU. BYU, man, I can't remember the dude's name, the coach's name, but he has done a hell of a job out there. He's got them 5-0 after losing the number 2 overall pick last year. They're ranked 10th in the country. I feel like they've been in this pick 'em a couple times. We pick against them almost every single time, and they come back and beat us every single time. So for that reason and that reason alone, I'm picking BYU this
yeah,
week.
I'm going with them. And the one thing I forgot
scares me how many we have alike
is that Zach Wilson was really, really good. But then I have to remember like how good their people had talked about their defense even before I found out about Zach Wilson. So this he might be USC's next coach. So, yeah. I mean, good. I'm going to go with that.
Well, I didn't even realize that these two teams, I mean, I knew they were playing. I did not realize Iowa was 3rd in the country. Number 3, Iowa hosting number 4, Penn State. Mm-hmm. I apologize for saying that Auburn, Georgia's game, like not even close to the game of the week. This has got to be game of the week. Number 3 hosting number 4, both 5-0. Iowa is a 3.5 point favorite here. Whew. What are you thinking?
I've had a hard time picking against Iowa, except for the first time when I thought Iowa State was going to win it. Their brand of football is really, really good. I've been on record consistently saying that everybody gives the SEC all the praise and all the accolades, but man, Big Ten football is really, really good comparatively. And they've got basically all their top ranked teams are in the top 10 right now. I'm going to go with Penn State, though.
Are you? I'm not. I'm going with Iowa because for a couple reasons. One, it's at Iowa. 2, I'm not convinced. I don't know why I can't get behind Penn State. Now, they got a dude coming, quarterback, but I can't get behind Clifford, the guy there now. I'm going to go with Iowa in this one. Oregon State favored by 3.5 going to Washington State. I'm taking Oregon State. I think Oregon State actually is pretty good this year.
4-1.
Yeah, 4-1. I actually have seen them a little bit. They're been that late night game a couple times. I like Oregon State in that.
Trayshawn Harrison, former Florida State.
5-star
pick.
Balling out there.
Washington is balling.
Boy, talk about 2 brands here. When you look at the logo, Michigan and Nebraska.
Michigan,
3.5 point favorite going to Nebraska. You're taking Michigan that easy, huh? I'm taking Nebraska. Just because I don't think like Michigan has this game every year. It's usually like a Michigan State or something like that. But every year they have this game, and this is as big of a game as they've played in Nebraska. They're 3-3. I'm gonna go Nebraska on this one. That's gonna be my upset of the week. In fact, I think Nebraska wins this. Notre Dame, Virginia Tech. Notre Dame 4-1. Virginia Tech 3-1 at Virginia Tech. Notre Dame is favored by 1.5 points, so it's basically a pick 'em. Man, that's a tough one. These next 2 are tough. I'm gonna go Virginia Tech on this.
Yeah, I haven't been impressed by anything that Notre Dame's done.
Yep.
So yeah,
even the big win that they had, It was all like kind of
Last
fluky in the
minute,
last quarter. Yeah. So you're going Vatek?
Mm-hmm.
This game is, I don't know what to think right now. Like 7:30 p.m. back to back, huge games for Kentucky at home at night. LSU at Kentucky. Kentucky is favored by 3.5. This has nothing to do with LSU because I don't know how good LSU is. And this is going to sound like a bitter Florida fan, and I'm not trying to be that, because I've had Kentucky fans all week talk about why can't you give Kentucky props? Because y'all didn't do anything. Like, I mean, you had a special teams touchdown. Your offense was miserable. Like, Florida had all these false starts. I'll give Kentucky fans credit, I guess.
Mm-hmm.
But Kentucky's football team didn't show me anything. It was more a complete debacle by University of Florida. And I'm a guy who thought Kentucky was going to be pretty good this year. Like, I really thought, okay, Kentucky's got a chance to be I just don't know how good they are. I don't know, like, that offense. I like their offense coordinator. I talk to him often. Liam Cohen, NFL background. After the first 2 games, they've struggled. Once they put stuff on film, they've struggled ever since. Will Levis, the transfer from Penn State, has struggled. I just don't know how good they are. With that being said, I don't know how good LSU is either. I don't know who to pick in this one.
I think LSU is a wounded animal, and that's very dangerous. And this week doesn't help anymore. When Coach O starts making death threats, I believe that there's going to be some wins coming in. So
you're taking LSU.
Yep.
I'm gonna go Kentucky just to be different on that one. I really don't know. I don't know. I think LSU, as much as I love Coach O, I don't think LSU has their guy at coach right now. And I mean, there's so much talent there. And they've been largely dysfunctional for the better part of 2 years. There's actually some parallels between them and Florida right now, but Florida just seems to be a little bit more organized overall than what LSU is. I'm gonna take Kentucky in that game. So that's all. You can join us. You can join us. Go to fantasy.espn.com. Search for the sportsden's league and join us right there. You guys have a big game tonight against Ed White. Mm-hmm. I guess it's technically just White. They take the Ed out.
Why would it take? Is Ed White one of those people?
I don't know. I mean,
we don't want the white commanders. That's worse than it. That's worse. No matter who Ed White is.
That's true.
Like, you don't want to have that's terrible. That's terrible, Brandon.
I mean, I don't ever see Ed anymore. Let me see something. If I type in White. Okay, no, it is still Edward White High School. I guess they just don't put Ed on anything. It's just all white. Right, and I don't even really see. Didn't they used to have like an EW, or am I thinking of Edward Waters?
They used to. I thought they had.
There's a lot of Edwards here. Never thought about that. Huh. All right. Well, good luck tonight.
Yeah, we'll see.
Y'all need a win.
We could use it.
Y'all need a win. Who needs a win? Y'all or Urban?
Oh, Herbs all day. But I'm gonna tell you what's gonna happen. We're gonna play pretty good first half. Stall out the third quarter. Need a touchdown to put them away in the fourth. They'll come back, and then we'll lose on the last play of the game.
Wow, there's a positive coach for you.
That's basically what's happened every week.
Jeez.
That's every week what's happened to us.
Hey, Mandarin players, there's your pep talk. There's your pep talk.
Go out there and don't lose. Don't choke. Don't fold.
Are you going out of town this weekend?
Going to DC.
That's right.
Hopefully.
Tomorrow?
Yep. After we finish the regular season undefeated.
Where are you going
with the I-9 Patriots?
Just to go?
Yeah, just
to hang
to DC, hang out.
Oh, okay. You should go catch a Georgetown game.
Are they hooping right now? Are you talking about football?
No, football.
That'd be damned if I go watch Georgetown.
I mean, I got a 6 points quarterback. It's Brunell's kid.
He's still there.
What do you mean he's still there?
It's been like 6 years.
No, I think he's fifth.
Okay, I'm about to say I know he's been there for a minute.
Yeah, he's a starter. I'm just saying, go catch him.
I'm good, man. That's
good.
That's okay. It's. I won't even be there by then.
You gonna go by and see Joe?
Biden?
Mm-hmm. You holler?
No, I may go try to tell Kamala that TJ and my mom are Soros. they all in the same
Okay.
sorority, but I don't think they'll.
I'm just gonna knock on the door. Just ring the doorbell. They'll let you in. Yeah.
People used to be able to walk in there.
I think they just got a ring doorbell there.
They might have a pineapple doorbell.
Jeez.
Oh, wait, hold on. Before we go, the one thing in Shelly Meyer's tweet that I did notice, and it brought me to what Jordan D. Armand told us. And this is why I think she's okay.
Okay. I didn't know this, though.
Flamingos.
I didn't know flamingos were a part of it. I knew pineapples.
Flamingos and flamingos and swingers is a thing too.
It's the upside down pineapple, but I didn't know anything about flamingos.
The upside down pineapple in your shopping cart, the pineapple door knocker, pink flamingos, because it's supposed to be like flock or something. Like it's supposed to symbolize.
Oh, well, that makes sense.
Something, and lawn gnomes. The reality is this.
And what?
Gnomes is one of these. The
really?
reality is this: all things that are innocent, don't put them in your don't put them in your yard because somebody's gonna get the wrong impression.
Gnomes?
That's one. They got like 20 things that swingers are known for.
Well, you really got to be careful.
That's what I'm saying. Like you can really like. I saw. Let me see. What's your band? Your wedding band?
Yeah.
Okay,
yeah.
No, you got the gray one. You know how some people have the black one?
I have a black one.
So if you put the black one on, but it's got to be on your right. It's not on your left hand. But if you put the black one on your right hand, that's supposed to indicate that.
Really?
It's so much hidden language. Instead of you know what they need? An app.
Don't they have apps?
I don't know. Like, but then you won't have to worry about all this stuff. You go to the app, you know who's in that app. It's just like Horny Javier.
Well,
at the Mets game, you just tender for swingers.
But I think
and then you don't have to be at a bar.
But I mean, we're making a big deal out of this. But the reality is, like, if you have a flamingo in your yard and somebody knocks on your door, there's like people are knocking on your door with their junk out, talking about, "Hey, I saw your flamingo." Like, it's not like they're invading your space. There has to be like an introduction, and you have to allow something, right? Like,
that's true. That's true. But you may be like, "Hey, that guy was sure was friendly."
All right, well, I'm not gonna worry about it. Yeah, if they want to, if my wife wants to put a pineapple up on the door, put it up there, baby. Like, yeah, that's you do you, babe. I'm not. Somebody comes knocking on our door, we'll handle it then. Okay, you gotta be pretty bold.
You gotta be pretty bold.
You gotta be really. I get the upside down pineapple in the supermarket because that's super specific. Like, that is super, because pineapples don't even really sit that way. Like, you have to really, like, that is something you are making a declaration at that point. Right. You don't accidentally throw a pineapple in and it lands upside down.
You don't slowly put it in there. You pick the pineapple up, boom. And you know what I mean? Force it upside down so that everybody around can see
it's like against gravity. So it's like
there's got to be like a swingers. Like, I don't want to ever accidentally be there on that day. There's got to be like, all right, Publix on the third Thursday, 6 p.m. over here. Because what other time
do they meet in the parking lot?
No, every time I go, right, it's so that you'll know, we'll put an upside down pineapple in our basket. When I go to get me a turkey sandwich or something like that, it ain't like it's a lot of people over there like that. Like, I mean, people ain't just hanging out in produce.
Yeah, what you're saying is, what are the odds that even if you
did have an upside down pineapple,
like there's another one in there,
right? Or that somebody sees, hey.
But they say that
I notice you like produce.
They say that a lot of your neighbors, like, you don't even know. You walk around with that upside down pineapple.
That was the movie. I was trying to explain to somebody the movie. It's Tom Cruise. I don't want that part, because what you don't want to do is be like Tom Cruise in Eyes Wide Shut, if I remember correctly.
What happened?
That's when he got invited to a party where he wore a mask. Okay. And what happened, all the men wore masks, I think, and like the women didn't. And his wife said she had a business meeting with her colleagues, and he sees his wife. And it's all about secrecy. It's all about none of this stuff. You're not supposed to know these things or whatever. And it's all cool until you're hearing grunts and moans that you never heard before.
But hold on. Tom Cruise would be easy to identify. He's like, unless he's at the same party as Nick Saban, they're short.
Not in real life. The movie, what I'm saying, he's supposed to, he plays normal people, but, you know, like, to me, the mask doesn't really do much. Like, you know, this mask does different, because now you got to have ugly lips and teeth. Like, the mask covers the eyes and stuff. So that it was one of, you know, those part. I don't know, what do they call them?
Well, listen,
masquerade parties.
Well, it's not gonna do much for you because you got dreads and like people. It's not
significant. Like,
but like if I'm in a room with a bunch of other 5'11" white guys and I got a mask on, I don't think you're gonna be able to tell the difference.
I mean, that's fair. But what I'm saying, the whole point of it is that you go like I don't want to know about my neighbor Wilson. I like what the relationship that me and Wilson have right now. So if it's non-sexual, I don't know anything about him. I know he likes cigars in Florida State. That's it.
So if you see Wilson at Publix
with an upside down pineapple, I'm not shopping at Publix for months.
Really?
It'll throw me off. I don't want to know that stuff about him.
Really?
Not at all.
So you would change the way you act around Wilson?
I would change the way I shop.
But what about when you see Wilson in the neighborhood?
I wouldn't see Wilson in the neighborhood for quite some time.
Wow, you are really judgmental.
No, I just don't want to know that part about his life. I am not one of those. This is why this is why I don't understand how people get. I don't care who's splitting you into or who you splitting into.
Well, you do, because now you're not talking to Wilson anymore.
No, what I'm saying is when I find that out, now I know. I don't want to know that. I want to know what, like, if our relationship, I put stuff in boxes. Matter of fact, I had a really good friend that I was on the phone with yesterday. We deal with business. She helps me with contracts. I found out stuff about her I didn't want to know about that. Now I'm trying to delete my like, you know how you do, like Will Smith did on Men in Black.
Really?
I want to delete because I did not need to know that information about her.
I think I have this.
No, I'm saying it's cool. She's still a phenomenal person. I just didn't need to know.
Wilson, if I see you with an upside down pineapple, man, I'm still cool with you. Like, as long as you ain't trying to do something with me.
Right. At the end of the day, that's
good.
That's the most important thing.
No, you just said bump Wilson. I ain't shopping at Publix anymore. I didn't say
forever. I just said for a few months. You gotta process. I gotta process.
So now it's going from 1 month to a few months.
A few months.
Now it's like, I'm gonna catch you next 4th of July.
Let me process it. And once I process it, I'm like, okay, I can deal with this.
James gonna be like, I can only see you in the winter because the summer's pineapple time, and
when pineapple season's done,
don't be wearing.
Which makes sense about flamingos.
Don't be wearing those pineapple.
When you can't get pineapples, you can put flamingos out. Now I get it.
Don't be wearing those pineapple swim trunks to my kid's slip and slide party.
Jeez, that part. That part.
All right, that's a good way to end the show. Get to ABC, get to thehumidor.com. When you get to the Humidor, type in sportsden, all lowercase, all one word, and you'll get 20% off. We'll talk to you guys on Monday. Guarantee you